Hi, I'm going to show you real quick how easy it is to import contacts into TextP2P. So here I have a test account. The first thing that you want to do is, if you're sitting on your dashboard, you want to click on lists. So you want to import contacts into a list. So if you don't have any lists currently, you just click that add new button and, name it whatever you want, like my contacts, right? And then you can put a website if you want to remind you where you got the contacts from. And that's optional, so you can leave it blank. And make sure you check the box that you are acknowledging that your contacts have opted in to receive text messages from you. So you just hit create, and now I have a list with 0 contacts in it. And I can click on this list to go inside of the list. So now I'm in the contacts list and I have a empty list here. And if I want to import, I mean, of course, I could just add one contact at a time by clicking this button. But if I want to import, I go Action, Import Contacts. Okay. Now it's giving me a warning that I can't import more than 100 because I haven't registered with the Trust Center yet, but that's okay. For this demonstration, we'll be fine. If you want a sample of what the CSV file should look like, you can click right here and it'll download a file which will look something like this, which I've modified and added an additional row to. But you can see like different examples here. One is, they have all the fields filled out that you can populate. Or here's the second row, which just has the first name, last name, and phone number. And then the third row, I just added one with just a phone number. So, I mean, if you just wanted to import phone numbers, you could. But I always recommend it's a good idea to at least import their first name. That way you could say, hi, first name, this is so and so, right? And just to show you how easy it is to import, if we go back to our screen here, we can browse for that file. And right here it is, sample data. And the sample file had one row of headers. It's important. Like if your CSV has multiple rows of headers, just delete everything except for one row that labels each column, right? Whether it's first name, last name, whatever. Advanced options, you really don't need to worry about. By default, we'll update contacts if they already exist. But I would just leave those as the default and you click upload. And then what it does is it brings in the first 2 rows of the file. So, we had 3 rows in the file, but you can see it only brought in the first 2. And then it will try to match up, what these columns are. And, if the column name matches our drop down here, it'll label it. By default, it sets it to ignore. So if you see ignore, what you want to do is you want to label this as, whatever the column is. So in this case, first name, last name, company. Phone number is the most important. You have to have a phone number, and email, of course, is optional. But if you want to do email, of course, you need to have email as well. So I have all these labeled. And, if I didn't want to import, address or address to, I just set that to ignore, right? Which would be the default if it didn't match anyway. So now I just hit submit and it says that it successfully imported 3 contacts. If this was a red bar, it would have, errors and warnings that you can click on and it'll give you the line number for the error. Maybe the phone number doesn't have 10 digits or, maybe there's invalid characters in certain fields or whatever. So, or maybe it's just a duplicate, which is just a warning, which you can ignore. So a duplicate contact would just get added to maybe it'll get updated and then added to the list. So if I click on the list now and go into the My Contacts list, you can see that I have 3 contacts which have been imported from the CSV file. And I could click on that contact and I could see all the information, and I could see it even imported the tags and the custom fields and everything else, right? And I could see that Bill has been assigned to this list. So everything looks good. If I go back to the main lists, now I can see that I have one list that has 3 contacts. And oh, by the way, you'll see that the status is unverified. That means that the phone number has not been verified yet. And that'll happen when you first either send a text or send our ringless voicemail to the customer. And, if you, especially if you're sending a text, it'll verify every number before it sends, and it'll label this as active and the phone type as mobile or landline or whatever, right? Or it could be an invalid number. But that's it. That's as easy it is to load the contacts. The next step would be to maybe do a list campaign, which you can create a campaign and you can name it and then select that list and then type your message and send. So it's that easy to send to your entire list. And then of course you have the contacts, which will list all contacts regardless of their list that they're in. So hopefully that was simple and easy. And if you have any other questions, feel free to let us know. Thank you very much.